Hello everyone and welcome back to Age Nagash, which is a channel dedicated to Age Sigmar. Now, in this video we're going to look at the Warhammer community preview for the Chaos Battletome Skaven. So like I've been doing with the last few preview guys, as I'm going to be reading this first time doing this video to try and basically explore it first time with you guys. So let's get started. So obviously this is a article on the Warhammer community site that is giving us a preview of what we can expect in the Battletome for the Skaven coming out. And it says, your prayers to the Great Horned Rat have been answered, and the Skaven are finally getting a Battletome of their own. This weekend sees the clans reunited in an incredible Battletome that transforms them into a fun, thematic fighting force known as the Skaven Tide. In today's preview, we'll be taking a look at how the army works. Okay guys, so like I said, I'm going to be reading through this article and I'll be including the pictures from the article onto the video so you guys can have a look as we go along. So it says, first though, if you're new to the Mortal Realms, there's some context. Okay, so I presume most of you know who the Skaven are, but if you don't know, here's a little bit of their lore. So it says, who are the Skaven? Skaven are one of the strangest and most sinister citizens in the Mortal Realms. A vile race of chaos-tainted rat mutants. Skaven are cowardly and traitorous and ambitious. Skaven society is divided broadly into different clans, each with their own distinct culture and ways of war. Of course, this being, like the great clans of the Skaven. So it goes into them. So it says the clan Esham, for instance, is pierceless assassins and thieves, while the clan Mulder are bioengineers who breed horrific living weapons. Conflict between the clans, and indeed within them, is rife, and Skaven are as likely to fight each other as they are the forces of order, destruction and death. Skaven are supreme meddlers. It was the interference of assassins from the clan Eshen that caused Nagash's grand ritual at the end of the time of turbulence to go horribly awry, and then while stray Skaven tunnelers were indirectly responsible for revealing the Indeneth Deepkin to the world. Okay, so really sort of like putting in the main two parts in the story where they've had a big influence, obviously of the Nagash's grand plan, which I've sort of talked about when I reviewed the Nighthaunt and stuff, and basically showing us who the Deep King are and where they've been hiding. Okay, so going to the next bit, it says, so what's in the Battletome? So it says the story. Battletome Skaven follows the long, strange story of the Skaven in the Mortal Realms, exploring the nature of the Great Horned Rat, Narholes and Skaven society. You'll also find loads of new art that brings the world of these vile ratmen to life in grotesque detail. It's perfect for inspiring your own collection and helps to tie your army into a grand narrative of Warhammer Age of Sigmar. Okay, so that's the sort of story we get. It's nice to have a little bit snippets of just saying how it's going to explore, the society of the Skaven, which is, I think, why most of us in the lore really like the Skaven. If you're a big fan of the Skaven, obviously, like I'm a fan of the models and all that sort of thing as well. But for me, it's the lore that drags me into it. It's the they're so unique and they're so treacherous little bastards. You need that, and it's great to have it basically promised to us that they're going to explore Skaven society, which makes them great in the new Battletome. I can't wait to have a read of that, and new artwork as well will be fantastic. Okay, so then it goes on to the rules. So it says allegiance abilities. It says buckle in. There are loads of these. Skaven armies have 4 allegiance abilities that apply across their whole army, and 6 allegiance abilities specific to the clans. So it says, firstly, you've got overwhelming mass and strength in numbers, which can transform even a humble unit of clan rats into a fairly terrifying fighting force. So the first allegiance abilities for them we've got is overwhelming mass. So add 1 to hit rolls for attacks made with melee weapons by Skaven Tide units while they have 20 or more models. In addition, add 1 to wound rolls for attacks made with weapons by Skaven Tide units while they have 30 or more models. Okay, so first thing to note here is that I'll be putting pictures and stuff on the screens, but it might be synced up to certain bits I'm talking about just because it's hard to get the time in. However, the overwhelming mass ability, when it says Skaven Tide, that's actually a keyword. So that's going to be a keyword for some of the units. So I imagine it's going to be things like, they've already mentioned clan rats. I imagine it's going to be things like clan verminous units. So it's going to be your clan rats. It might be your storm vermin. It might be, I want to say things like giant rats. But I'm not really too sure on that. It's going to be like I say, I think it's definitely going to be clan rats. I think it might be a storm, but I think it's going to be mainly verminous units. It's like when you think of, I know they call it a Skaven tide, when you think of the Vermintide, the sort of things you think of, it might also be a very broad keyword. It could go into things like, what do you call it, Night Runners and Plague Monks and things like that, but I think it will be more verminous, but we'll wait and see. But anyway, add them on to, what was it, the hit rolls, and then add on, if they've got 21 models, and then add one to the wind rolls, they've got 31 models. It's very good, especially how clan rats, I believe, already have an ability like that. Might even just be the same ability, but instead of putting it on the war scroll, they're putting it on the allegiance abilities, but we'll have to wait and see for that. Okay, and then the next ability says strength in numbers. So when a Skaven Tide unit takes a battle shock test, add 2 to its brave characteristic instead of 1 for every 10 models in the unit. Okay, so this is something we saw already in the Clan Scryer Allegiance and the Clan Peasants Allegiance. So where this actually makes me feel like the Skaven Tide keyword isn't just going to be like for clan rats and so on, it's because if this ability was already in Pestilence, where it was working for the Plague Monks, and already in Clan Scryer, where it was working for the Acolytes, I believe they're called. It didn't really come to it. However, if they had this ability, I imagine they're going to have the strength in numbers ability in the new Skaven Battletome, and if they have the strength in numbers ability, because they're Skaven Tide units, that will also mean that they will benefit for the add 1 to hit rolls and the wound roll malarkey from the overwhelming mass ability. So obviously that's just speculation, but I can see how they might have that keyword as well, which would be awesome. Then it says we've got lead from the back and scurry away, which makes Skaven Tide heroes nigh impossible to pin down. So you've got lead from the back. So the lookout server rule applies to a attack made with a melee weapon as well as an attack made with a missile weapon. The target of the attack is a Skaven hero that does not have a monster. Okay, so when it says Skaven Tide hero, that is keyword again, and a monster is a keyword again. So you're not going to be getting it for your Vermin Lords and stuff like that, and that makes me feel like a Skaven Tide hero is, if you imagine a normal size of a Skaven, like not one of the mutated abominations or something big really. I imagine Skaven Tide hero might be things like your Great Ears, your Plague Monks, your Warlords. I thought originally it was just going to be like your Wars and Clan Verminous, but actually looking at it, I think like it could be more spread out. So it could be your Assassins, like I say, your Warlords, your Arch Warlocks, your Grey Seers, your Plague Priests. It could be a wide variety across all those. Your Pack Master, it could include all the sort of standard size Skaven heroes, if you know what I mean, without going into the sort of monsters and all that. So that could be cool, but it's definitely going to be for Skaven Warlords. Definitely seem like they'll have this ability, even though they're the only one. Right, okay, and then it says the next ability is Scare Away. So in the combat phase, when you pick a friendly Skaven Tide hero to fight, which you can say is going to scurry away instead of making a piling move and then attacking. If you do so, that hero must make a normal move and must retreat. Okay, so I think this will be taking the scurry away ability from the Skaven Warlord, which is after he attacks on a 4-up, he does this, which means that he's missing out on an attack. However, this is going to be great for things like when your your weaker things, shall we say, get charged, like your Grey Seers, your Plague Priests, your Arch Warlocks, all those sorts of things that you don't really want to have in the combat phase, especially if they're up against big nasty things. The enemy might charge them if they're unaware of this ability. They'll go, right, okay, that's not a threat to me. I'm not going to kill that first. I'm going to attack over here where it's more important. If they do that, and then they go, okay, now I'm going to come back to the combat against your little rat wizard, you can actually go, well, you see, you think he's going to die. However, you've activated that unit already. It's my turn to activate something. I'm going to just make my guy run away, and then the enemy will not really be able to do much about that. So that's pretty cool. Tied in with the lead from the back ability, that's actually makes your basically your weak little heroes a lot more survivable now, which is cool. And then it says the clan abilities are a bit fancier. So the Clan Scryer and Pestilence abilities will be familiar from the appearance in last year's General's Handbook, and are joined by new allegiance abilities for each of the main clans. Take the Clan Verminous and you'll be able to give command trait to 6 Claw Lords, giving you loads of versatility. So it says a Verminous one, so a Mighty Warlords. So when you pick command traits, you can pick up to 1 trait for up to 6 friendly Claw Lords, in addition to 1 command trait for your general. If your general is not a Claw Lord, you must pick a different command trait for your Claw Lord that has a command trait. and no model can have more than one command trait. You can use the command trait for the Claw Lord even though they are not your general. I don't think I've ever said command trait so much in one paragraph in my life. So a little bit confused by this because I feel like I was just repeating the same sentence again and again. So it looks like you can give your guys, 6 command traits. So you have 6 heroes in a 2001 army, don't you? So each of them can have a command trait. And then where it says Claw Lord, that is actually a keyword as well. So that makes me feel like they're going to change the Skaven Warlord name to a Claw Lord maybe, and this ability is just going to be for Claw Lords, for your Skaven Warlords, if you want to take 6 of them in your army. However, I feel like the Claw Lord might be given to things in the Verminous army, the heroes. So you've got obviously your Warlords if they're on, big, rat or just on foot, or if you've got your, Vermin Lord for the clan Verminous as well. I think it's the Warbringer. I think that's one that he is called. He might get the keyword as well, which would be pretty cool. And then I think it says, what does it say? In addition to 1 command trait for your general, if it's not a Claw Lord. Okay, so you might get it if he's not a Claw Lord as well. You might get a command trait. I'm gonna let this one for you guys to read out here because let's say first time reading it, a little bit confusing. I'm easily confused. So yeah, but it looks like you get 6 command traits, which is cool for Verminous. And then it says, or the clan Molder with prize creations, you'll be able to make your favourite helpet abomination even deadlier. And I have 3 of the helpet abominations, and I definitely have a favourite so far, so I know which one I want to make even deadlier. Okay, going into it. So a Molder, prize creations. At the start of your first battle round, before determining which player has the first turn, you can pick 1 friendly class Molder fighting beast model for each master Molder in your army. The same fighting beast cannot be picked more than once to benefit from the ability. Add D3 to the wounds characteristics of each of those models, roll separately for each. In addition, you can reroll hit rolls of 1 for attacks made with weapons by those models. Okay, so we can see why they're going for, picking your helpet abomination, because you can only pick 1 model, and that's obviously the biggest, nastiest thing in a Molder we have seen to date. Something to note is that when it says, Clan Molder, obviously that's keyword, and then Fighting Beast is a new keyword, and a Master Molder is an also new keyword. So this, I imagine Master Molder firstly is just going to be your Pack Masters and Molders. How many other heroes I'm far and with, unless they're going to get some, but we can all hope. And then Fighting Beast, I imagine, is going to be most of the stuff. It's going to be Helpet Abominations, obviously. It's going to be Ogres, isn't it, for sure? Wolf Rats, maybe. And Giant Rats, it might. Storm Fiends, it might actually be all the, basically units almost in Molder, because they all sort of look like Fighting Beasts, apart from the Pack Masters. So yeah, that'd be cool to see. And then it says, all of these abilities work in tandem. For example, you could field a Greyseer, Deathmaster and a couple of Claw Lords in the same army, and each would benefit from their own allegiance abilities. Okay, so that's interesting. So that means that makes it easier to have more of a mixed Skaven army, I imagine, from reading that. So all of these abilities work in tandem. For example, you can field a Greyseer, Deathmaster and a couple of Claw Lords in the same army, and each would benefit from their own allegiance abilities. Okay, so yeah, I think it makes it a lot easier to have a Skaven army as a whole, but each part of that army will be benefiting from their own abilities. And it's also something important to note is it also puts the name Greyseer and Deathmaster next to the name Claw Lord. So that makes it sound like Claw Lord is a model. So I think that's going to be Warlords, and I think they've changed it to Claw Lords just because it's maybe copyrightable, something like that. So I think the Claw Lords is going to be the new name for the Skaven Warlord. Okay, and then it says, Skaven are getting not 1 but 2 magical laws to draw from. The first, the Law of Ruin, is available to Greyseers and contains all sorts of hideous effective curses. Splinter, for example, lets you pick out key enemy models and slay them. So it says Splinter. Splinter is a casting value of 6, so successfully cast. Pick 1 enemy model within 6 inches of the caster and roll a dice. If the roll is greater than that model's wound characteristic, it is slain. Okay, so yeah, it says it's great for taking out key models. I mean, you can use it to take out, obviously, heroes and stuff if you're lucky, if you get the 6 up. Because most of the heroes have 5 wounds, sometimes they have 4. you know, especially against Skaven and Grot, so maybe you get that off. I think it's also going to be good for just taking out special models in units, so you know, like ones that carry a more deadly weapon, unit champions. Like I recently reviewed the Iron Jaws and just talked about how the brute boss can be, you know, basically a hero in his own right. So just taking him out is pretty good. Also things like the special weapon for Blood Warriors has caused me so much pain. My mate's got one who he calls Kratos, and it literally becomes a demigod, and I fucking hate it. So being able to kill that instantly will be great. And yeah, I mean, you've only got within 6 inches, so you're going to have to... This guy can't be hiding at the back. He's got to be behind, you know, clan rats or something like that, so then he can surgically take away models. If you're going against death, it could be useful to take away the death banners from the units to stop you getting negatives to your bravery, but I don't know if you want to waste a spell on that. However, as there are things in the game with incredibly good saves, it could be quite useful surgical striking to remove them, whereas you know your clan rats with no rend aren't going to do so. And it says, a clan scryer on the other hand get the law of Warp Vault, Galevasm, allowing them to supercharge nearby units or shield themselves from harm. So we've got one here called More Warp Power. For example, gives your chosen unit rerolls to hit and wound until the next hero phase, causing your damage output to increase enormously. So more warp power. So more warp power has a casting value of 7. If successfully cast, pick one friendly clan scry unit wholly within 12 inches of the caster and invisible to them. You can reroll hit rolls and wound rolls for that unit until your next hero phase. However, at the end of your next hero phase, that unit suffers D3 mortal wounds. Okay, so risk reward with the Skaven. Lovely to see it there. Yeah, that's massive. I mean, yeah, you're going to take D3 mortal wounds, but if you have a big old unit of, you know, Storm Fiends, and let's say you put this on them, this unit of 6 or whatever, this is going to hugely increase their damage output. It doesn't matter what weapon option you give them, apart from the Warp Fire Throw, because I don't think there would be much point putting on that. But, you know, like them or Jezzails, or I would say the weapon teams, but they're not going to be worth it because they're in units of 1 currently at the moment. It would be awesome in the new Battletome. They make them into units of like minimum of 1 and maximum of 3. That would be absolutely fantastic. However, in the meantime, that's not the case. So put it on that, and then yeah, probably be able to do a bit of shots, more shots off if it's like a rattling gun or something. But it would take D3 more wins and it could die. So I definitely think things like Storm Fiends, stuff like that. When I said Jezzails, they haven't got many wounds, have they? So I think this is aimed at Storm Fiends for sure, I would say. Right, and then it says and more. So, and that's not even the half of it. We haven't gotten into the improved War Scrolls, War Scroll battalions, or the 36 artifacts available to the army. So 36 artifacts to the army, absolutely fantastic. We knew that we'd be getting, you know, battalions in the Battletome because they always do that, but it's good to know that we will for sure, as it has got it mentioned there, and improved War Scrolls. So there's definitely going to be some changes to the War Scrolls, which will be interesting to see. And then it says, what does the Skaven army look like? So that's pretty much up to you. Skavens have traditionally been seen as horde armies, and if you want to use them that way, you'll find them pretty excellent. It also says dig deeper, however, and you'll find all sorts of unusual army builds. Support an artillery line of plague or catapults with bulky rat ogres, field a super elite force of storm vermin, or a convocation of terrifying verminlords. Possibilities are nigh endless, of course. If you'd rather focus on one of the great clans, you can still do that. In fact, you'll be rewarded for focusing efforts with special battle line choices. Okay, so this is going to be, you know, your clan Verminous. You're going to get, you know, Storm Vermin as battle line. If you're clan Pestilence, you're going to get Plague Monks as battle line. If you're whatever, you know, clan Scry, you might get, you know, the Acolytes as well as battle line. That's really what it's sort of aimed for, which is nice because you'll be able to just take, you know, clan rats in your army, not as allies, which would just be lovely. If, like, just say you're running a, you know, a Scry army, you're happy with a Scry army, you're happy running it, you're obviously looking forward to new Battletome coming out, but you're still probably going to run the army how it is. But you've always wanted to take clan rats not as allies, you know, you can start doing that, which is nice. And yeah, it just shows how much they're going to work together now. And also field a convocation of terrifying Verminlords just sort of shows that, yeah, it looks like there's going to be a battalion for all the 5 Verminlords, which I'd absolutely love to run. If only I had 5 but not 1. But, you know, 1 is a start. And then it says a Battletome Skaven will be available to pre-order this weekend alongside the Karen Empire Battletome Flesh-Eater Courts and more. If you're dusting off your Skaven collection for the new Battletome, we'd love to see it on the Warhammer Age Sigmar Facebook page. If you're yet to get started, start collecting Skaven Pestilence. It's a brilliant place to kick off your army. Okay, a little bit on the last night. Yeah, that box set's obviously good if you want to go the Pestilence route. It's great. Even if you don't want to go the Pestilence route, you've got 20 Plague Monks you could kit bash into Sign Chaos. I've seen people kit bash into Acolytes, which is obviously a really cheap way of doing that. And then you've got like the Screaming Bell you can make out of the Plague Furnace, and the Warp Lightning Cannon you can make out of the Plague Claw Catapult. So it is, to be fair, quite uniquely overall Skaven rather than specific to a certain clan. Right, and then yeah, so that's the article, guys. Yep, quite a nice little bit of insight here, some nice artwork I'll be obviously putting throughout the video, and yeah, I very much look forward to it. It's not, well, I think we've got some reassurances here, haven't we? We obviously, when the Battletome they announced this stuff, and we were like, oh, it'd be great, Skaven could all work together as one single army and stuff. I mean, although that was more than likely going to be the case, at least now that it's all properly confirmed, and but you can also split into take different clans, and even if you want to take certain clan abilities, like you want to go Pestilence, you'll still be able to have like your clan rats and all that sort of thing by the looks of stuff. And yeah, it looks like there is definitely some interesting things to come, and I would say this very much looks like just the tip of the iceberg, which is lovely. Okay, so guys, I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope you're excited about the Skaven Battletome as well. I can't wait for it to come out as well. I mean, like, there's too much. Like I keep on saying, this release is not just like one army I like. I mean, one army I love, and then the other army is really, really adorable to me, being the lovely fluffy rats. Okay, so like I say, guys, I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you had, please like, subscribe and comment down below. Let me know if you're excited. Let me know if there's anything you're disappointed about or anything that you're really happy to hear in the article. Okay, so I thank you guys very much for watching this, and remember, until next time, Nagash is all, and all is one in Nagash.